Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur nächsten Folge des Stanley Parable. Hat jetzt ein bisschen gedauert, bis ich wieder aufnehmen konnte. Dass gestern kein Part kam, tut mir leid, da war ich leider verhindert.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ihr kennt das Spiel ja schon von den Parts davor. Wenn nicht, guckt euch die unbedingt an. Da erkläre ich ein bisschen mehr über das Spiel. Jetzt gehe ich hier erstmal ein bisschen durch. So. Die Uhr tickt immer noch.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ja, und jetzt gehen wir mal runter.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ich hoffe, man sieht hier was.
Just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Viel Auswahl.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to
Einfach nur verschiedene Farben, ja nice.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Okay. Ich sag nichts mehr.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any
Ich
other.
glaube, wir sind sehr
She
zufrieden.
rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Lustig, sie hat also die ganze Freiheit. Aber ihr Auftreten bei dem Meeting gleich? Ja, davon hängt ihr ganzes Leben ab, ihr ganzes zukünftiges. Lustiger Kontrast, definitiv.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Das hier ist neu, oder? Oder bin ich einfach nur doof gerade? Hä? Der Gang hier ist doch neu?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay. Soll ich hier runterspringen oder? Offensichtlich nicht.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not sure.
Für dahin.
Really, I'm not. I realize
Fährst
that
du hin?
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the
Von
fact
dahin.
is that the story has been
Oder
about
dahin.
nothing but you.
Kann ich springen, ist das Problem.
There's someone you've been
Oh, warte,
neglecting,
warte.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What?
Oh, war das knapp.
I was in the middle of
Oh,
something.
jetzt auch
You
noch.
have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you
Brauche
of
ich für
this,
eine
but
Karte?
I
Muss ich die
really
irgendwo
do
aufsammeln?
want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me
Okay.
prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Ja, Gefahr überall, alles klar. Hier ist keine Gefahr bis jetzt. Hier sehe ich auch noch keine.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nee.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Nein.
As still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ich glaube, ich sollte das mal tun.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing
Jo,
right
das ergibt schon
now.
wieder keinen Sinn, dass ich hier im Kreis renne. Ich dreh mal
I wanted to stop. We
Auch
would
nicht.
both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Ich sehe da nichts, ich gehe erstmal weiter. Okay. Okay, was passiert? Ladescreen.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Was zum...
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Ich weiß nicht, was das macht.
No, wait.
Weiter.
Where are you going?
Ob ich mich da hinstelle? Das kann alles sein. Schießt bestimmt ein Laser auf mich oder so, keine
Oh
Ahnung.
no. Stay away from
Okay.
those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Ich werde mich umbringen, so wie es aussieht. Muss ich da hoch? Oder will ich da hoch? Weil er es nicht will.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Ich habe das Gefühl, er will, dass ich diesen Weg nehme.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for... No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Okay. Ach du Heilige. Was passiert denn hier?
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Nee. Ich habe nicht vor, meinen Lebensabend hier zu verbringen und für immer hier zu bleiben.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
Doch. Der Tod und ein Neuanfang. Wir haben das hier schon ein paar Mal erlebt jetzt. Weiß nicht, versprich mir beim nächsten Mal ein bisschen mehr zu tun und nicht rumzustehen. Yay. Schon wieder.
Let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Wenn du meinst.
Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
So, jetzt bring ich mal echt um.
No.
Kein Bock mehr.
Perhaps not.
Ich will da nicht bleiben. Ist so langweilig. Er will doch eh nur, dass ich mir das Ganze da angucke.
My God. Is this
Wollt ihr
really
sicherlich
how
auch nicht.
much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Ich hab nichts gegen dich per se, aber es ist schon irgendwie langweilig hier rumzustehen. Oh
Maybe
Mann.
you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Ach, ist auch nicht wirklich so traurig zu hören. Guck mal.
I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Das habe ich mir wohl verscherzt. Hallo, Lichter? Da kommen die neuen Lichter. Warum freust du dich nicht? Wie sind wir da? Du kannst es dir angucken. Ich glaube, der findet das nicht mehr lustig. Ich geh mal hier runter. Tschüss. Ich komme nicht runter. Ach nö. Na gut, dann muss ich mir jetzt wohl das Leben nehmen. Machen wir das mal. Vielleicht klappt's ja mal. Wie viele Treppen? Wie viele einzelne Stufen das wohl sind? Hui.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Ja, traurig.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Alles klar. Das macht mich gerade echt paranoid. Hilfe?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, ich glaube, er will, dass ich mich
Yet
überhaupt
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, das kenne ich jetzt echt nicht. Das andere kannte ich noch so ein bisschen von früher, aber soweit ich weiß, ist mir das hier noch nie passiert.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course,
Irgendwann kann ich die auch auswendig.
by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Wir wollten ja noch den Notausgang in letzter Sekunde unten nehmen. Erinnere ich mich noch dran, wie wir da vorbeigelaufen sind. Dann machen wir das mal.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Das glaube ich dir nicht.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Ich habe gesagt, dass jemand hinter mir
Stanley
ist.
was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his
Und
death.
es ist auch keiner hinter mir. Und
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was
Okay.
inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture.
okay,
He
tschüss
doesn't know
Leben.
the real story. trapped
Aber ich will es
forever
jetzt
in
hier
his
unten
narrow vision
verstecken.
of what this could be.
Vielleicht sieht es mich dann
Perhaps
ja
his
nicht.
death was of no great loss, like
Oh
plucking the
no.
eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent
Okay.
end to his brief and
Tschüss,
shallow
Typ
life.
da vorne, wenn er drin ist.
Stanley,
Au. Bitte nicht. Lass mich da einfach.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Die ist der Rebel. So, ich weiß, was ich spiele. Hä? Warum? Na gut.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game back in his office,
Oh, was ist da?
alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Ich hätte jetzt hier einfach auf Neustart gedrückt, sonst hätte ich hätte das nicht gesehen hier.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless,
Was ist das denn?
making life the same.
Museum?
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Das zeigt den Weg zum Ziel, oder? Wie darf ich mir das vorstellen? Also der dafür vorgesehene. Nee, das sind erst die 2 Türen. Das heißt, das ist nur bis zu den beiden Türen am Anfang. Das hier ist meins. Ein Tisch. Hier geht auch nichts auf wahrscheinlich. Nee. Vier verschiedene Sounds für die Buttons. Wo bin ich denn hier eigentlich? Museum von den ganzen erstellten Sachen, oder? Ist das hier das richtige Ende? Weil sie hat irgendwas davon wegen, wir sind sowieso schon tot. Office Computers. Erste Mal Ausschau. Oh, Solitär. Erste Mal Ausschau. Oh ja, hier sind die Credits auch. Das hier scheint tatsächlich das richtige Ende zu sein. Ich habe Stanley Parable endlich durchgespielt. Yay. Alles klar. Jo. Leb wohl, Stanley. Das wollte er eigentlich sagen. Okay. Oh, Steam Greenlight. Okay, die wollten noch so ein Ende machen, wo ich gegen Aliens kämpfe. Aber das habe ich rausgenommen. Schade. Du Scheiße, kann ich ja total lesen. Okay. Interessant. Tatsächlich interessant. Early Version, ja. Cargolith. Okay, da kennen wir wohl noch ein bisschen was durch und spoilern uns hier ein bisschen. bisher habe ich ja nur immer also abgenommen, das Telefon. Das war dann die erste Version. Ja, haben wir es doch geschafft, oder? Ich weiß es nicht. Also, ob wir da doch schon waren, das mit dem, wo wir gerade eben halt auch in der Folge lang gefahren sind. Was ist das denn? Escape Menü. Ascending Leaves. Okay. Hier geht ab. Trailer. Joa, schöner Trailer. Achso, da geht's los. Das war der allererste Trailer zu dem Spiel. Okay. Ohne Sound wahrscheinlich. Weil ich höre auf jeden Fall nichts. Wahrscheinlich gab es da aber Sound. Da ist ganz wahrscheinlich etwas spannender gestaltet. When? Okay. Ob man die benutzen kann? Oh Gott, ich verirre mich hier drin gleich. Ich sehe schon kommen. Was haben wir hier? Achso, das Büro, das wurde ein paar Mal umdesignt. Geworden ist es ja das. Hätte auch das hier sein können. Der wäre hier also offen gewesen. Das entspricht schon so ziemlich dem. Was ist das? Nur dass halt da hier die Schubladen noch nicht auf sind. Okay. Erstmal das ein bisschen kaputt machen. Wieso nicht? Was ist das hier? Countdown Room. Ach ja, da kommen wir auch noch hin. Ach nee, da waren wir schon. Das war da. Hätten wir dann nämlich die die Gedankenkontrollmaschine wieder angemacht, dann hätte er halt gesagt, so und so viele Minuten geht eine Atombombe hoch, dann stirbst du. Da wäre einfach wieder ein Restart gewesen, dann, wenn die Zeit abläuft. Okay, interessant. Warte mal. Da geht's auf jeden Fall weiter. Ich gehe mal weiter. Ich habe zwar wahrscheinlich einiges nicht gesehen, aber ey.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Tatsächlich stimmt das. Ich möchte frei sein, also Stanley möchte frei sein wahrscheinlich, weil er irgendwie das gleiche erlebt. Ohne es zu wissen vermutlich auch noch. Und der Typ, weil er an einem bestimmten Ende auch erwähnt, dass er schon so vieles probiert hat. Er hat versucht, alle anzuzünden, das ganze Büro einfach abfackeln zu lassen. Das Spiel dann gerestartet, hat versucht, Stanley auf brutalste Art und Weise zu töten. Er hat versucht, das Gebäude einstürzen zu lassen, alles. Doch das ist das Spannendste. Da möchte er wahrscheinlich dann auch frei sein, indem er halt das auch nicht mehr machen muss. Und wir machen die Stanley Parable jetzt aus, würde ich sagen. Und wahrscheinlich startet das Spiel neu.
Can you see? Can you
Nein.
see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Doch. Jo. Ich sehe nichts. Das startet nicht neu. Ich habe das Spiel ausgemacht, würde ich sagen. Also jetzt in dem In-Game habe ich das Spiel ausgemacht. Jo. Damit würde ich dann sagen, wenn ihr ein bisschen was zu sehen habt. Damit würde ich dann sagen, war es das. Mit Stanley Parable erstmal. Vielleicht werde ich das irgendwann nochmal anfangen. Jetzt habe ich erstmal das richtige Ende geschafft. Ja. Dann sage ich ciao. Wünsche euch noch einen schönen Tag. Und guckt mal öfter wieder vorbei. Adios.